Hey guys, it's Matthew with Cofter Industrial. So today we're talking about mold release agents. So, it's a pretty light mold. It's not very thick. It's a lot of curves, a lot of tight radiuses, so it's a little challenging, but it's coming out pretty good. I got about halfway. It's delaminated up to here, so about 60% of the way there. Sometimes you can kind of get a screwdriver between the mold, but there's really not much leverage, so you need a block of wood in there. And you don't want to do it too hard. Here's the thing about these molds. So, when you're new in business, you're going to have kind of a hard time having your own product. And yeah, I'll be right back in a minute. All right, sorry about that. So when you're really starting off in business, molds are expensive, especially if you're starting from scratch. But if you could take a product that hasn't been copyrighted or something of that sort, has no there we go, has no copyrights or anything like that, you basically just find something you like, cast it, and remake it. So this board is you're probably checking out this video because you got a one-off job coming up, or you've already made your mold and you're trying to cast a part out of it, and you're having a hell of a time getting that part out. Here's the reality: if you don't have the proper mold release agents, I don't care if your mold is as flat as Texas, I don't care if you make it out of glass, I don't care if it's perfectly smooth, your mold is not coming out. Or should I say your molding is not coming out if you don't use mold release agents. So let's say you got your mold, okay, and you decide that you want to go super cheap and you go buy yourself a can of wax, and you wax and wax and wax, and you let it dry, you buff it, you wax it some more, let it dry, buff it. You do that roughly 10 times like you're supposed to. Okay, well, you've already started off wrong because you're using the wrong kind of wax. Okay, I see so many threads out there where people are, they're blogging out there, oh, you don't need to use that expensive wax. Okay, I've been doing this 16 years. I've done it cheap, and I've wasted more of my material. I've wasted probably thousands and thousands of dollars in materials because it's too stubborn to go get a $25 can of wax designed for this. Okay. I finally wised up, talked to my fiberglass guy, said, hey, okay, what do you use for mold release? Okay, I'm going to suck it up and buy it. He gave me a can, and he told me how I have to use it. Okay, you can't just use wax, because you need more than just wax. Because what happens is when you wax that, and then you put in a layer, of resin, whether it's epoxy, vinyl ester, or even polyester resin, that resin will dissolve the wax. Because it's thermal reactive, it actually dissolves the wax, it melts it, and it absorbs it. Okay, and basically you simply glued your glass material to your mold, so that will never work. What you have to do is you wax it with the right kind of wax. You got to start right. Your foundation has to be right. You can't be off square or off level. It has to be perfect every time. So use the right wax, guys. It's really not that expensive. If you're making fiberglass parts, I don't care if it's a $5 part, go down the store and buy you a $25 can of this stuff. Okay, I think that's about what I spent for this. Alright, use this. You will never go wrong using this. Okay? Second, even when you use this, if you don't use the next step, your resin will melt the wax and absorb it, and you have effectively glued your glass to your mold and destroyed another mold. Yeah, one more item to buy. This. So this is called PVA. It's polyvinyl alcohol. All right. I get this stuff from my supplier, Fiberglass. I buy in bulk now. I get by 5-gallon buckets. That's how much PVA I use. This thing, well, if I don't count, or if I do count the process of molding the part that I'm repairing and ultimately replacing with a new skateboard, this was almost a brand new bottle. So you can see how much PVA I've used. And the good thing is water soluble. So you may be able to reuse it so it peels off in kind of a papery film. This is super green kind of because of the PVA dried on it. So what the PVA does is you have your wax on your mold. You need an air gun to spray your PVA. People have used brushes, however, you don't get a consistent coverage and you get ripples. Okay, you get ripples, and in those ripples are valleys that are actually in contact, or should I say void, of PVA that expose the wax. If your wax is exposed, it's going to, the resin's going to get down into your mold, spread under the PVA as it melts your wax. Okay, so can't do that. What you gotta do, I don't care if you go super cheap. Okay, this is what I use to spray my PVA. It's a very small, okay, small sprayer. It's only, you know, very, very, very small. But I use that on my small molds. 1 can of that covered that mold, okay? And then you really only need a little air compressor like this. This air compressor, when it's charged up all the way and set to 45, basically I can get one full layer of PVA on here. And normally what I do is I get about 2 to 3 layers of PVA. Okay, I get a real light dusting of PVA on my first layer. You have to let it dry. Okay, because if you don't, you'll get runs and you gotta start all over. And it will print through on your mold, so you gotta make sure it's perfect. Okay, so you spray your first layer, let it dry. Then I spray another layer, but it's going to be a lot better coverage. It's going to be a more thorough coverage. I let that dry, and then I do it once more. So in this case, what I did was I basically propped it up here. Of course, all this crap wasn't in the way. But I had this propped up like so on its side, sprayed it, and then flipped it 180 like so, and then sprayed that side. So that way, when I'm spraying, okay, we're spraying straight down like so. What happens is I may miss a spot, like on this edge here. It's not quite all the way in, but it's very, very close. I mean, it's almost a perfect 90. It's like, I say close to 95 degrees. So it's almost I can't remember the term, but it almost goes over the edge where it'll actually cause your molding to lock in. So you gotta make your mold a little flexible so it can stretch around that as you lift it off. So once you have your PVA in, you have to let it dry, and I mean it's gotta really dry. And what the PVA does is it causes a film, and you know, I'm quite surprised because I did put a lot of PVA on here. Usually you get this really thin film, and it's almost like a foil. I'm trying to see if maybe I could peel some of it off. This board is more green, mostly because of PVA. I'll end up washing this with water. Because PVA is water soluble, but this will lighten up to be more of this color once it fully cures. I'm actually quite surprised that I don't have a nice thick film coming off. There, oh, there it goes. So you can see there's a little bit of PVA there. There we go. All right, so this is your PVA. It's peeling. It's a little stubborn. So it's slowly peeling. So this is basically what is protecting your mold and allowing a solid barrier between your molding, your wax, and mold. Okay, so the wax gives you the separation, but the PVA is necessary to protect your wax. So you need multiple layers of wax, but you also need a good, well, this is considered to be kind of thick, and it's like Bible page paper thin. I mean, it's just like foil paper. It's very thin. It's even transparent, you know, a bit. So you can see it's actually transparent. but it's a very light green, as you see, and it's spectacular. I mean, it's so thin, it's not going to throw off anything. If you're doing like a military grade aircraft part or something like that, NASA part, the spec on this is not going to go off. And anyways, you're going to machine that part anyway, so it's perfect. So anyway, so that's basically PVA done properly. I mean, it's really awesome material in terms of getting your molds out. So you have to have this. You can't go cheap. The PVA is cheap, okay? I bought like a bucket of it for, I want to say about 50 bucks. All right, this little bit here, I think was like $5, maybe 15. I bought it so long ago, I don't know. It doesn't go bad. And what's really cool is that it's water soluble. That means I can take this and theoretically dissolve it in water and run it through a paint filter and reuse it, hypothetically. So that's really all you need. Now, I use a lot, of course, because I do things like boats and airplanes. I mean, like full airplanes. But anyhow, guys, if this was helpful, smash that likes button, guys. Okay, this thing is necessary so I can make more videos. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so that way when I put out a new video, you guys will be first to know. Take care, my friends, and have a wonderful day.